Hey Limitless Nation, today you're in for a real treat. Today you get to learn directly from Cindy. Cindy is an orchestra conductor living on the Italian Riviera. Her days are busy with conducting, farming on her private olive grove, public speaking, and just for the fun of it, making stained glass windows. Cindy Egolf wants to invest. She is eager to give back to the community what her unique experiences have given her, namely passion. She is also a much sought after speaker, most recently presenting in Monte Carlo, managing like a Maestro for the Global Professional Women's Network and Project Managers International. In today's masterclass, you are going to learn from the master conductor herself, Cindy Egolf. Let's dive into it.
Before you dive into today's masterclass session, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the button below. It allows you to receive notification bell every single time we provide you with the content that allows you to live a limitless life. Now, if you want to go deeper on learning on how you can hunt your future, make sure you download our masterclass session at huntyourfuture.com. It allows you to know exactly what you need to do to hunt your future. Plus, we are also going to share with you tips and tricks on what you need to do to live a limitless life starting from today's forward. Now, let's dive into today's masterclass sessions.
Hey, welcome Cindy Egolf.
Thank you very much, Donovan. How are you?
I'm doing phenomenal today.
Good.
Now,
Good.
Cindy, here at the Limitless Nation, we start each and every single interview with a limitless quote or mantra. So tell me, do you have a quote or mantra that you just embrace in your life?
Yes, I do. And it comes from my teacher, Leonard Bernstein. You may have heard of him. He was a very famous conductor. He was tasked to conduct a concert the day after John Kennedy was assassinated. The country was devastated. He was devastated. Everybody was. He wrote in his score a letter, which was found 24 years ago. And what he wrote to himself was that our response to violence will be this, that we will make music more intensely, more beautifully, and more devotedly than ever before. So when we're faced with a challenge, for me, it's always a reminder to step up my game.
That is beautiful. When faced, and I'm paraphrasing, when faced with any type of violence or setback or obstacle, our response should be not to fall back, but to go forward and up and raise the level.
Right.
Now, I'm curious, Cindy, what would you say is an obstacle or challenge that you've had to overcome to get to where you are today?
Well, there are a couple of challenges to being a female conductor, and one of them is being female. Especially in Europe, I would say it's a little more difficult. Especially in the south of Europe, in Italy and in France along the Riviera, it's just not done. So that's a challenge that I've had for the last many, many years.
Wow, that sounds clearly biased.
Yes.
However, it seems like you've managed to get over that slant against you, in which case it brings us to an aha moment. So I'm curious, and I'm sure the Limitless Nation is also curious, what was that moment, that aha moment, where you went from, I'm going to guess that there's got to be a little bit of friction or difficulty or just a mental anguish with dealing with people not accepting female conductors, to where you are now. Tell us about that transition.
The problem persists. It's still a problem. But the aha moment is, I can only do what I can do, and to just do it the best of my ability. I don't think of myself as a female conductor. I think of myself as a conductor. I'm well trained, I have a lot of experience, and I can do the job. So whenever I get the opportunities to stand up and do it, I just do what I can do.
I like that. That's very, very profound.
Thank you.
Now, Cindy, what are you working on now?
Hope you enjoyed the masterclass session so far. Before we get into the second half of the session itself, it is very crucial for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, as I really don't want you to miss out on another masterclass where I'm going to share with you what other expert celebrities, Fortune 5000 companies do to become successful and live a limitless life. So make sure you subscribe right now, and every single time we upload a new video, you will receive a notification bell. This allows you to enjoy the masterclass on the regular basis. So make sure you subscribe right now. Well, as you are ready, let's get into the second half of the masterclass session.
I just finished a project where I went to conduct an orchestra in Bulgaria. And the challenge with this making this recording was that I didn't have any chance for rehearsal or practice or of any kind before the recording. So it was just stand up in front of 70 people that I didn't know, they didn't know me, and just go. So that's my most recent project.
Wow. So how did that turn out?
It was great. It was great. Before I got to do it, the thing that I practiced a lot was gratitude. Gratitude for being there, for having the opportunity, for meeting these wonderful musicians. And by the time I stood on the podium, I was in a place where I already knew that we would get along and that we would do well. And we did.
Wow. So just as a side note here, as a conductor, you're the person who is leading a group of, I'm going to say 20 to maybe 60 people who are all having their own instruments, and you're teaching, guiding them on how you want them to play?
Let's go from 20 to 120.
Okay.
It can be a very, very large group. And when you add a chorus or an opera, it's a lot more. But we have ways that we communicate, the ways in which we understand each other. And also when you have an intention, they get it. And I get their intention too. I know what they're doing. They know what I'm doing. So it works well.
Perfect synergy.
Yeah. There's a new word in my vocabulary that I just love. It's called entrainment. And entrainment is when two oscillating entities synchronize oscillations. And that's what we do, is that we are all synchronized. We're vibrating the same, and we put out the same kind of energy in the same product. And voila, it works really well.
Would that be similar to harmony?
Sure. The physics of sound and harmony work great with music, but it works great with people too. Yeah.
I agree. And in speaking of people, since you have obviously impacted many different lives and people all across the board with your music and style, I would say, what would you say is the best piece of advice that you have been given that you can pass on to the Limitless Nation?
Very often people ask me, what is your favorite piece of music? And my response is always, whatever piece of music is on my desk. Whatever is in front of you, find a way to love it. I might have to conduct a piece of music that doesn't sound pretty to me, but I have to really dig and find something that I love about it. Otherwise, I'm not convincing. Find a way to love what you do.
I like that. Find a way to love what you do. Now, similar vein, when you started embracing being a conductor, what would you say is something that was holding you back from becoming truly limitless?
The biggest thing holding me back was me. I decided to be a conductor in an age where there were no women conductors at all. Now, if you look at the largest orchestras in the world, there are five women conductors with the main orchestras. So for about 10 years, I didn't admit it to anyone that I wanted to be a conductor. I did other things. I taught music. I taught music in Kuwait and in India, and I studied in Amsterdam. I studied in Italy. And I did a lot of things to fill my time and to fill my imagination. But I didn't step into the realm of conducting until about 10 years after. So the biggest thing holding me back was me.
Wow. And realizing that it was you that was holding you back, can you share with the Limitless Nation some habits or rituals that you have embedded into your life that help you maintain this limitless life?
One of the habits that I try to practice as much as possible is to be in the present moment. Because in the present moment, nothing is wrong. Everything is right. The other thing that I find immensely helpful is to practice gratitude. I used to think that gratitude was a good idea. And now I think it's more than that, because it actually releases enzymes and hormones into us that brings us up to a higher level. And the more you practice gratitude, the higher you get.
Yes. And the more you practice gratitude, the more positivity that you can allow into your life.
Perfect. Exactly.
Cindy, what is the best way for the Limitless Nation viewers and listeners to connect with you and learn more about your music?
Well, I have a webpage, www.orchestra-conductor.com, or you can go on YouTube and watch my videos.
What is your YouTube handle name?
Cindy Egolf.
Awesome. Thank you very much for sharing that.
Very original, isn't it?
It makes it easy. It makes it a lot easier. Now, Cindy, If you walked into your house one day and realized that all of the books and all the music that you had just disappeared, and in a frantic you looked at your bank account and realized that you only had enough money in your bank account to get one book, being that it could be any book, but only one book, what is the first book you would get?
Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. It's a very powerful book, and it's one of those that you can pick up to any page at any time, read a few paragraphs, and feel uplifted, and take a moment to breathe and be aware.
So being aware, breathing, being in the moment, and accepting the reality at the moment is the best way to move forward.
Yes.
Now, in another hypothetical question, if you had the ability to travel back in time and talk to a younger version of yourself, what advice would you give that individual?
I would say, Cindy, it's okay to be an introvert. I didn't know what it was, being an introvert. I would have maybe 5 hours of rehearsals a day. And at the end of those 5 hours of rehearsals, I was exhausted. I started to think there was something wrong with me. But now what I know is that an introvert needs time alone to recharge. And being around 70 or 80 or 90 people for 5 hours a day was not recharging me, it was draining me. And now I can say, I'm an introvert. That's okay. That's who I am. Find ways to use it. And when I can't find a way to use it, feel comfortable living outside the box, working outside the box.
It's a very unique way of understanding yourself, realizing that this is how I normally am, this is how I function, this is what I need to do to recharge, and I can still function over here and still get tasks done and still communicate and expand my horizons and interact with new people and have new experiences.
Yeah, it's the same for everybody. Our nature will help us in certain situations. Other situations we have to move beyond our nature to be able to move forward.
Now, Cindy, one more time, as I know we just previously talked about it, but what is the best way for the Limitless Nation viewers and listeners to get in contact with you, learn more about your music, and just say hi?
A very good way is through YouTube under Cindy Egolf or www.orchestra-conductor.com, my webpage.
All right. Thank you very, very much for sharing that with us.
My pleasure.
Side note, just out of, I'm going to say, curiosity, the music that you conduct, is that primarily classical?
These days, it's a lot of classical. I started with jazz and conducted jazz big bands for a long time. I even started a jazz big band in India, and now jazz is all over India and doing really well. So I feel very proud of that. But then I moved my way into orchestral music, classical music, and that's where I like to live.
Very powerful, expressive style of music.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you very, very much for your time, Cindy.
Thank you, Donovan. It's a pleasure talking with you today.
I'm sure that the Limitless Nation has been inspired by your story. I know that I have been blown away by everything that you've had to say. Being able to understand that you're an introvert and understand that you're trying to break into a field where you're the minority, where it's a difficult thing to do, to accomplishing that goal, to not only accomplishing that goal, but now you're going on and you're inspiring so many different people that they too can go after their dreams. And you're traveling all over the world, sharing the love of music with everyone.
It's a wonderful life.
It is.
It is. It is.
Until next time, this is Donovan saying, stay limitless.
Well, that's a wrap. Please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the word subscribe. And if you want to go deeper on learning on what you need to do to hunt your future, make sure you watch the interview that I've done with Donovan on what you need to do to hunt your future on every aspect of your being. This allows you to live a limitless life on every aspect of your life starting from today's forward. Plus, you are going to receive tips and tricks on what you need to do to tackle your day, tackle your challenges on every situation, every single time. So go ahead and download it right now, and until then, stay limitless forever.